Shout out to Bring Our Q, Julius, you legend. We're going to do a joint interview, yeah? Yeah, we'll do a joint interview, Julius. Thanks for the support. You're a legend. From your girls, Raven and Ellie.
Welcome to the motherfucking relay. We're covering today's top boxing news.
Listening to Baumgardner talk about herself, realizing she only sold 2,500 seats at the theater at Madison Square Garden for her last fight, and she doesn't want to fight anybody because she thinks she's bigger than everybody. This is part of the illusion of Jake Paul world too. Like, I don't think there's a lot of clamor in the general public to see Alycia Baumgardner fight anybody. I don't think if you walk down the street and you talk to a combat sports fan, the first thing out of their mouth is, I need to see Alycia Baumgardner fight someone, right? And I'll say this, if she fights Michaela Mayer again, I'll probably watch. If she fights Tiara Brown, I'll probably watch. Probably a pretty good fight.
Dubois?
I watched that too. I think Caroline Dubois beats her ass, but yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
Do you think she's an exciting fighter?
No.
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 Do you think the 3 minutes is doing her disservice?
Yeah, 100%. Not helping her. She's not knocking anybody out. She's not scintillating anyone in that extra 60 seconds around. She's not a power.
She wants to fight Katie Taylor or Amanda Serrano.
Because they're shot. I mean,
Big names.
Jordan Maldonado's not letting Amanda fight her, and if he did, he'd be crazy, and he's not crazy. I mean, he's protective of Amanda. He's been protective of
Is Amanda shot?
She's old. Yeah, of course she's shot. I mean, just look, dude.
Katie shot?
Yeah, horribly shot. Katie shouldn't even be fighting.
You don't think so?
Go listen to an interview.
She's got one more.
I'm going to a challenge to you, Hawani listeners.
Okay.
Hawani listeners, go back and listen to an interview of Amanda Serrano 5 years ago and today. Go listen to an interview of Katie Taylor 5 years ago and today.
The speech?
Just the speech.
Okay.
And I see that in overwhelming majority of male fighters, like ones that have had those length of careers, that have been in wars, that are great fighters, particularly ones that have rumbled. And Amanda's been in rumbles. Katie Taylor too. And Katie, it's even more obvious. I think Amanda, it's less hit you in the face, but lately it's been hard for me to listen to interviews with Katie.
Okay.
She just sounds. She shouldn't be fighting. She doesn't need the money. I don't know why she's fighting. By the way, if she's going to fight another time, it should be an easy touch. Let her have a victory lap.
Croke Park, they're talking, the big stadium over in Dublin.
Well, go do that, and she should fight whoever the fuck she wants. And it shouldn't be about passing a torch. She's been a great enough fighter. She's entitled to go out on her own terms. She doesn't have to fucking fight Alycia Baumgardner. And who is Alycia Baumgardner to call out Katie Taylor or Amanda Serrano? Go fuck yourself. You're sitting there saying you don't want to fight Michaela. By the way, she ended a career of a woman named Christina Lintardenu that I promoted. And Christina gave her hell. And then she flashed positive for the roids and after the fight with Christina. Christina's never had a payday again. Okay? This girl's making millions of dollars. She was embraced and let back in. Typical boxing nonsense. She cheated and got bigger. Conor Ben syndrome.
It is getting bad, man. That was savage. He ravaged Alycia Baumgardner on a good number of subjects, blowing off the idea that either Katie or Amanda should give her the time of day.
Fuck that.
On the subject of her would-be marquee value, only selling an estimated 2,500 tickets at the Infosys Theater, formerly known as the Hulu Theater, that seats upwards of 5,000. If that's true, that's not an encouraging number. Her actual marquee value is being outpaced by the size of her ego.
That never works.
You could tell that Lou was still raw about what happened to Christina Linardatu and what were her two fights with Alycia, where Christina won the first one, Alycia won the second, albeit controversially. I think that leaves precedent for a third. And even though Christina hasn't been in a big fight since then, she hasn't retired yet. She hasn't bowed out. I think if it was offered to her, she would do a third fight. I think she would do a trilogy, because at the most, Alycia tied it. The question is that something that MVP is willing to pay for, since they're the ones promoting Alycia now? You know what I think, and you know what I've been saying? That I think Alycia needs to settle the score with the two Carolines, Caroline Vieira and Caroline Dubois. You can add the name of former champion Christina Linardatu to the mix. You can add the name of Christina Linardatu to the mix because, let's be honest, that wasn't a clean break. Quote-unquote, avenging her lone career defeat, albeit through dubious practices. What to best do with the amount of hate that she is now receiving, as Alycia Baumgardner has fast become the girl everybody loves to hate. Well, you know what your haters hate to see more than anything? They hate to see you smile. They hate to see you happy. They hate to see you winning. If she has now become a social pariah and the villain in everybody's story, unwittingly becoming the heel in everybody's story, she's got to own it and step into that role. Some people have got to put on to play the heel, play the character, whereas Alycia has very much become that organically. There's a growing list of individuals that they don't like her, and for them, she can't do nothing right, so why try to? If you already don't like me,
You're really not gonna like me in a few.
it's the best thing to do. Own the character that you have become. Within these parameters, there is only so much that she can get away with, and she can't get away with letting both Carolines talk her down like this in the eyes of the boxing community at large. I get the impression Alycia is very big on manifestation. Speak it, believe it, receive it.
That kind of stuff.
But that positive outlook needs a foundation, a very strong one. You're telling people that you don't want to give Michaela a rematch, you don't want to fight Carolyn right now. Well, then what do you want to do? And what are they supposed to look forward to? What is it that you've got going on that's going to get them excited? Or have you moved past the point of entertaining a crowd? Because if you have, you may as well drop your belts and retire right now. You see Two-Tone, a superstar, hamming it up. He's taken to calling her the face of women's boxing, but only 2,500 tickets sold at the Hulu Theater. That doesn't tell that story. She's not yet in a position where she can afford to get away with this kind of stuff. You gotta get out there. The Harper fight was something like maybe 4 or 5 years ago. The Mayer fight, that was 3. She may not like it, but she's gotta do a lot more than that to really be the face of boxing and have that translate into dollars. There's a lot more work needs doing, whether she likes it or not.
I don't give Zurdo much of a chance with.
You think Benavidez wins?
Yeah, easy.
And then what do you think happens?
Who the fuck knows?
Maybe he fights better Biev?
I gotta be honest with you. I don't give a single fuck about Beterbiev. I don't give a single fuck about
Really?
Bivol. I don't.
Why?
I don't
They
think
have two
either
of the
one
best
them-
fights.
I don't think either one of them is particularly compelling personality. I don't think they're
Great
particularly.
fighters,
I
though.
don't think they're-
Better Biev. He's like a freaking
I am
machine.
not I'm not a big fan of. I'm just not. I mean, I don't really. I would watch. Like, I would like to see. Look, Benavidez against Beterbiev is a hell of a fight.
It's a tremendous
And I
fight.
would certainly watch.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not belittling it, but I just, those guys have only fought a couple of fights against each other. As a result of that, light heavyweight as a division hasn't developed. So it's like, I mean, we're sort of recycling the same shit.
What have I often told you guys about the American boxing scene? That Americans are more concerned with personalities than pugilism, because Artur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol are, in fact, two of the most compelling light heavyweights the division has seen in a long, long time. They, unlike Sergey Kovalev, they, unlike Adonis Stevenson, actually had that fight with each other. In the case of Dmitry Bivol and Artur Beterbiev, the best actually fought the best, but that means less and less to Americans who care more about your congeniality. Personality over pugilism. No, I wasn't the least bit surprised to hear Lou DiBella poo-poo all over Dmitry and poo-poo all over Artur. He's also going with David Benavidez to run through Zurdo Ramirez on Saturday. I think a lot of people have it that way. I wonder what percentage of Lou's evaluation has to do with David's personality and Zurdo's lack thereof. Though I can't be too hard on him. I too have David Benavidez winning Saturday's fight. Not necessarily because I have a high opinion of him. I think the hand speed is a factor within close quarters. I think he could theoretically beat Zurdo to the punch if he can get close enough to land the punches. David Benavidez would have had to have been very confident to decide to make a move like this, all based on the over 100 rounds of sparring he's already had with Zurdo. In his own mind, he feels he knows this guy, knows him well enough to beat him when it counts. Where it counts. And you have to wonder about Zurdo Ramirez's headspace. He said something that was a bit unsettling to Marcos Villegas of Fight Hub. Says he's thinking about retiring, and as soon as 2 more fights.
Reach your goals at this weight, cruiserweight. We go up 1 more, you think?
Yeah, probably 1, 2 more, and then it'll be down for Zurdo Ramirez.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So you think only 2 more fights and that's it? That's a wrap?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I've been in this sport a long time, and I did my legacy, but I want to continue, but I don't know. Who knows the future, right?
It's never an encouraging omen when a fighter starts thinking about retirement and talking about retirement ahead of a fight, a big one, an important one. And that's what this represents for Zurdo Ramirez, a win over David Benavidez. I mean, it could be career-altering for Zurdo. Zurdo's been around for about as long as David Benavidez, but without the big media push, without the hype, without the cute little nickname given to him by Mike Tyson. So imagine if he's the one that unseats the quote-unquote Mexican monster. That'd be the biggest win of his career so far, across 3 weight classes. But when he's talking about retiring within the next 2 fights, after this weekend's fight, you have to wonder what kind of headspace he's in. And then I thought about it. In victory or defeat, the cruiserweight division would not yield much in terms of big money fights for Zurdo Ramirez. There would be that Jai Opetaia fight that he's never really wanted. Couldn't he get big money for that? You know that he probably could, but he's never really wanted that fight, much less now that Jai Opetaia doesn't have a belt. He didn't want that fight when he had a belt. So what's supposed to keep him around? And in the sport of boxing, Noel Mikhailian, the WBC champion, that guy's even less known than Jai. Vidal Riley? Now that Jai Opetaia has been relieved of the red and gold title, it looks a lot like it's going to end up in the hands of Vidal Riley, but who is Vidal Riley to Zurdo Ramirez? So I got to thinking, this guy probably doesn't have more than 1 or 2 more fights left in him because, I mean, these are not big money fights. Huge money fights for Zurdo, and moving up to Bridger, or moving up to heavy, forget about it. Zurdo's a big boy, but he ain't that big, so big that he could campaign as a heavyweight? Successfully? No. Forget it.
The big thing with David is his speed and his volume. How much of a concern do you think that is in the fight, and how have you been preparing for it?
No, I've been preparing really well, but no concern. And so I'm just excited for May 2nd because I'm going to prove myself that I'm the best.
Why is that not a concern? Because you've seen in the other fights, that's what gets the fighters. He overwhelms everybody with his speed and volume.
I mean, he's been doing well, and like you say, but I'm confident what I can do in the ring.
Perhaps I'm confusing Zurdo's laid-back demeanor with complacency. Maybe I'm misreading the situation? Because I've never known him to be all that animated a fighter. Because he's always been that way, sort of aloof, not beaming with personality. So perhaps his brand of confidence is a quiet confidence that everything that David Benavidez knows about him, he knows about David. Because the same 100 rounds that David is drawing from, for experience, well, that's the same 100 rounds Zurdo's drawing from. They know each other. I would say that over time, David Benavidez is very much now the same fighter that he was way back when in 2017 when he first won the WBC title. In terms of X's and O's, nothing changed. He was a pressure fighter then. He's still a pressure fighter now, with the same deficiencies. Holes in the guard as he's barreling forward, leaving himself open for punches and open for counters, some of which could knock him down. He's been knocked down 2 times already because he squares up while he does it. He gives his opponent both shoulders while trying to string punches together. That didn't change. Doesn't take on a bladed stance as often as he should, and a lot of what he throws, those are just flurries. Those are not combinations. You know, it looks good to the judges on the night and the spectators at home that he's throwing so many punches, but those are just flurries. David hasn't changed much over the years. It's actually Zurdo who's added wrinkles to his game, new bells and whistles. Will it matter on the night? We'll see, because boxing has a way of surprising people. Most have David Benavidez winning the fight. Like it's a foregone conclusion. And I won't wrestle with this idea too much because even I have David Benavidez winning the fight. I'm hedging my bets. If David wins, then I was right. If he loses, then I get to laugh at his fans on Sunday morning. Maybe Zurdo will surprise us. We'll see. In men's heavyweight news, wherever we're told, Eddie Hearn says Turki Al-Sheikh will choose the location for Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury. Ideally, you do this fight in the UK. In front of a UK audience, I think it would be a terrible tragedy for this fight to happen anywhere else where they can't be there. Don't outsource this one to Saudi. After recent news broke that a British heavyweight fight between Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury had finally been signed, it was a bit curious that the announcement came without a specific date or venue. In an interview with Fight Hype, Joshua's promoter Eddie Hearn confirms that they have actually put pen to paper for a fight against Fury, and the contract itself makes it explicitly clear that the venue, and by virtue of the date, will be up to the sole discretion of Turki Al-Sheikh. I mean, that's how it is when you're the one foot in the bill, right? I don't even think Tyson Fury would be back in the sport of boxing right now if it wasn't for Turki Al-Sheikh. What we know is the fight is signed by both fighters, Hearn said. I mean, Fury's already said he signed it. We've now signed our end as well, so the fight is done. The location of that will be down to Turki Al-Sheikh. I think the one thing I'll say about Turki is, he's a mad boxing fan, and he knows that that fight in the UK is historic, so I think he wants to give British fight fans something they'll remember forever. However, he's also the one paying the bill, so really, he has to look at where that fight makes sense for the business and for them as well, so wherever it is, it is. It's not down to us making those decisions, or AJ, or Fury. Ultimately, we signed a contract to fight wherever we're told the fight is. Obviously, everybody wants the fight to take place in the UK, but we'll see what transpires. The fight's going to be mega, and to do it in the UK is going to be really special. Hearn was then asked about the likelihood of it taking place around mid-November. I think that's about the time frame they're talking about, Hearn responded. Obviously, Joshua's gonna fight at the end of July, and then after that camp, a few weeks off, maybe even August off, and then back into camp right at the beginning of September. You gotta do that fight in front of the Brits. If you want it to be everything that it can be in terms of an event, with an electric atmosphere and an audience watching it that's very much involved and cares about the fighters and cares about the outcome, not just in front of a bunch of rich sheiks scratching their balls under their robe. No real enthusiasm and no atmosphere where you could hear a pin drop during the fight. Why would you want to do it in front of them? In a place like that?
I'll give you another thing that doesn't help. Christian Prenga doesn't help when you're out there shitting all over TKO for the mediocrity of their product. You're out there attacking them. They just started. They're not really doing product much different than the ordinary pedestrian shit you're doing on DAZN. And you're out there trying to kill them, but then you just made a guy that you're telling everyone correctly is a possible Hall of Famer. I think if Joshua beats Fury, he seals it completely.
Oh, for
that
sure.
He's a Hall of Famer, and he's probably a Hall of Famer already. I mean, he's close. I mean, he probably is.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
He's certainly shouldn't be in the ring with a doorman.
Sure.
And that's what Christian Prenga is. I know him very well. I tried to sign him multiple times as an opponent, more as an opponent who sold tickets for Broadway boxing to fight other pedestrian sort of heavyweights that I thought he wouldn't even beat. But he was a ticket seller. He is a very physically strong, just cock-strong dude. He's just like a doorman, like literally a doorman at a nightclub kind of guy. But you wouldn't want to be hit flush by him if you weren't looking. The kick and punch, if you'll be slow. But I mean, if you don't see him and he telegraphs a punch at you and it lands, he might hurt you. But does he belong near? Anthony, it doesn't belong in the same freaking gym, doesn't belong in the same state or country, doesn't belong in a sparring session. In fact, the people around Anthony wouldn't really pick him as a sparring partner against a good heavyweight because he's not going to give you that kind of work. You know, he had a lot of knockouts on his record. He's got a 21-1 record, even though he fought Bozo the Clowns.
I would agree with some of what Lou DiBella has to say about Prenga if he kept that same energy for Deontay Wilder when he fought Tyrell Herndon in Wichita, Kansas. I think Tyrell Herndon is an even worse guy than Prenga, and I don't remember Lou standing on his soapbox harping about that. He can never keep the same energy while making some valid points. Oh, it is true that Prenga's not on the same level as Anthony Joshua, but he's not supposed to be for a stay busy fight. We all know what's on the line here. We all know it's all about getting Anthony some rounds before he takes the plunge and fights in the big one with Fury. So if Lou DiBella, and the whole world knows this, and you know what kind of money is tied into that Fury fight, why would you expect Anthony to fight somebody dangerous? Who is it that you wanted him to fight? Coming off that car accident, who would you recommend, Lou? The truth is that in the exact same position as Eddie Hearn, with that much on the line, Lou DiBella would have did the exact same thing. But because it's not him, he's gonna have this holier-than-thou attitude. Lou's grown bitter with the boxing industry, and you can see that. He still has an axe to grind with Eddie Hearn, and he'll find different ways to take shots at that guy. Like when he said that Dana White is a better promoter than Eddie. Better at what? At promoting MMA fights? Because Eddie doesn't promote those. The only thing they both promote are boxing matches, and you're telling me that he's already better than Eddie. For you he is, because you don't like Eddie. That's a guy. He can't do nothing right for you, Lou. Not even when he's trying to make sure the Fury fight happens.